Hey guys, welcome back. So yesterday, what you guys had to do was look up a tutorial of anything you wanted and to watch it. You had to spend about 20-30 minutes doing it. Then you had to submit to me what you did, what you saw, all that type of stuff. Thank you guys for those of you who did it. Those of you that didn't do it, please make sure you guys are getting these things done. All right, these will be counting for grades later on, so please make sure that you do this work. All right, it is very, very important. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be working on a platformer, sample platformer. What you see here is this is an example. We go to the classroom, here's the assignment. Now in the assignment I've also added this scratch sample. Right now it says it's not shared, but I'm going to share it at the end of our discussion just so you guys can see how to do it. But basically what I want you to do is watch this video that you're currently watching, so that's good, and then complete the assignment. So you're tasked with creating a platformer game using Scratch. The example above is a very basic platformer. Some other examples include Super Mario Brothers, Sonic, Mega Man, etc. If you already have created a background and characters, please make sure you use them. Here are the requirements you need. Your game must have at least 3 levels. A user-controlled character that can move left, right, up, down. Gravity, enemy that comes at the user. Reward, so some type of goal that you're trying to reach. Each level should have a unique environment, so background, bad guys, rewards, weapons, anything you'd like. Excuse me. And then display how many lives your user has left. So some extras that you might add for bonus marks are a character that can shoot things, backgrounds and sprites that you've created yourself, multiple enemies that come after you, introductory story, and maybe more levels. All right, so those are some ideas. If you have some other ideas that you want to do, please just shoot me an email and say, hey, Mr. David, would this work? Could I do this? All right. Now, this is going to be due April 22nd. So if we look at a calendar right now, we'll notice here that it's the 14th. This is due next Wednesday. All right, so you guys are going to have a fair amount of time to be working on this. All right, so if you spend a half an hour each day, this is a 1 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm giving you guys about 3 hours to work on this. What I'm expecting for you guys to do is please email me your progress at least every second day. So if I don't hear from you tomorrow, I should hear from you Thursday. If I hear from you Thursday, I should also hear from you Monday and next Wednesday when you hand it in. All right, if I do hear from you tomorrow, then you don't need to check in again until Friday and then Tuesday again. So please make sure you're checking in every second day or so. Just let me know how it's going. Also remember that on the 21st, we're going to have our first Google Hangouts, where I'm going to set up a classroom. We're going to probably go from 1 till 1:30ish or 2 o'clock, depending on how many people show up. So I will invite you all. We'll have our own Google Chat, Google Meet, Google Hangout. You guys can ask questions, tell me how it's going, all that type of stuff. So I hope you join us for that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shoot over to Scratch, and this is the sample platformer that I've shown you guys. Now, how does it work? What we're going to do is we're going to discuss that right now. So what I've done here is I made a very basic background. All right, and all this background contains, if we go to backdrops here, is this background contains a purple base and a green background. Now all these purple lines here, these are all going to be our platforms. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the color of the platforms is the same as the base. Now the bigger these platforms are, the more room you're going to have for the sprites to get caught. So if you've made these bigger platforms, like let's say you made them into like beams or something like that, what you might want to do is put a very thin line of color over top of it, add it in, so that we can use color detection to work with our gravity. What you're going to notice with our little sprite here, the guy, is if we zoom in on him, you'll notice here that he has these yellow things, these yellow shoes. All right, now I kind of exaggerated them in here, and you can kind of see them in there. If you designed your own character, just make sure the bottom or the shoes of the character are a very unique color or a different color than anything else. Because what we're going to be doing for gravity is we're basically going to say, if this yellow color is not touching the purple color, then make him fall down. As soon as the yellow, his shoes, are touching the purple, then he's going to stop. So if you don't want to use the same background color for each of these, that's fine. You made a beautiful background. It looks great. You just want to throw it in. What you can do then is with your background, you just have the basic background or your more advanced background. But if you had, let's say, a hill here that you want to use, you just make a sprite, very skinny line, very small line, just using the line, or you can use a rectangle if you want a very small rectangle, and you're going to make it the color that the base is here. This is one way to do platformers. There's other ways to do it. All right, so let's dive in and let's look at the code. So let's go to the cat, or let's go to this ball here first. So this ball here is basically the ball that's going to be moving around. So let's see what happens here when I click start. So I click start, notice the ball starts there and it spins, 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 it goes, it hits this thing and you're like, oh, Mr. David, why do you have these blue lines here? All right, these are sprites. Now, typically in the game, what I would do with my finished product is I would change these sprites so that they're the same color as the background. All I'm using them for is collision detection. So I'm saying here, I have a variable and it's set to right. All right, I'm saying right is -4. That's the direction it's going to be moving in. So since my ball started up here, I'm saying right. So the x that I'm going to change is I want to move it over to the left. So it's going to be a negative value. And I'm saying if it's not touching this purple, then I'm going to change the y value by 5. So if this sprite is not touching a platform, it's going to move down 5 steps at a time. But remember, it's always going in either the right or left direction 4 pixels, 4 spots over. Then I'm going to say change my x value by right. So right now it's -4, so that's going to move to the left. What I'm going to say here is it's touch sprite 12, 13, 14, or 15. That's this sprite here, this sprite here, this sprite here, this sprite over here. Then what I want to do is I want to change right so it goes in the opposite direction. So to simply do this, I just say right is equal, or set right to right times -1. Because a negative times a negative will give us a positive. So if it's going over to the left, that'd be -4. Oh, times by -1, negative times negative is positive, so it's going to be a plus. So it's going to keep on going, 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 going. Oh, it hits here. All right, a positive times a negative. Well, that's negative, so then it's going to go this way until it reaches here. Now what I have here is I have an if statement. If it's touching this sprite here or this sprite here, well, I'm at my end. So I now want the ball to go back to the top. I reset the right to -4 to make it move to the left, and it just starts all over again because it's in a forever loop. Now, how did I get the spinning effect? That's by using the next costume. So every time this loop is called, you'll notice here that it's just switching the costume, and it's showing you it right here. So it goes, hits it, boom, it reverses. You can see the right is positive here now. This is positive value. Oh, it hit there, it's negative. Now it's going to hit my cat. Oh no! Now my cat jumped a little bit. You also notice that he lost some lives right here. All right, so that's how I got this ball to move. And this kind of encompasses a lot of the ideas that we want to do. We have some collision detection. If it touches these blocks, do something. We have it moving to the right or the left by using a variable. Then we also reset it and we change the costume. Now, when I restart the game or restart this sprite, what I want to make sure is that I go to the top and I set the right to -4. Because what would happen if right was +4? Well, there's no collision detection sprite up here, so it's just going to go to the corner. It's just going to get stuck there. It's just going to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, but I can't go anywhere. All right, so that comes back. So we need to make sure it starts off with -4. So that's the sprite for getting the ball to move. Now these sprites here, all these platforms, they have no code in them. These guys here have no code in them. Even this sprite here, this is my goal. The only code I have in it is that when the green flag is clicked, is that it goes to here. I should also probably add a show. So you just click a show and drag it over there because I want it to appear when it starts. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to get to. So where's all the work done? Well, if I go to backgrounds, you'll notice there's a couple of different things here. So first of all, when it starts, I switch to level 1. When I get to level 2, it's going to be a galaxy. So I haven't programmed a second level in this whatsoever. When I get to game over, well, it goes to the chalkboard and then it stops all because it's game over. All right, so that's all it is here. So when you get to the end here, you check, oh, if it's level 1, go to level 2. If it's level 2, go to level 3, and so on and so forth. All right. So what I've done here is I made a very basic single level platformer game that you can use. So if you want to use this, by all means you can use it as a guide. Please don't just remix it and add the code in. Please add the code in on your own project, but you can use the same ideas. Right? Because I want you actually clicking and dragging and dropping the code and making it work yourself. All right. I don't want you guys just to take this and say, oh, I'm just going to add on to it and change a little bit of things here and there. Make this your own project. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the cat, because this is where all the magic happens. All right, you're going to notice, oh, wow, there's a lot of code here. Well, the first code here. Let's look at this here when I click restart. So when it receives restart, it's pretty simple. It just goes back to the starting point. All right, that's all restart does, is it goes to the basic starting point of where this cat is. Now, what I have here is I have a couple of variables. The first one is can jump. So I don't want the cat. You'll notice in some games that when you click jump, I was using the wrong keyboard. When you click jump, you can click it more than once. However, in this game, you'll notice that I can only click it once. So I move, he moves, he can jump, but he can't jump when he's in the air. So it's like, what? Why can't he jump? Because sometimes you'll notice that you'll see some platformers on Scratch, some games on Scratch where you can just jump and you just like fly all the way up to the top. So how did I stop doing it? And again, this isn't the only way, it might not be the best way, it's just one way to do it. Is I made a variable that said can jump. And basically, if he's touching the ground, he can jump. If he's not touching the ground, then he can't jump. So I set it to 0, and 0 means you can jump, where 1 means you can't jump. All right, so 1 means you can jump, or can't jump, sorry. 0 means you can jump. All right, so basically what I have here is I have a if statement. If, so when the space key is pressed, if jump is 0, that means you can jump, so change y by 50. If it's not 0, then you can't jump, you can't do anything, it doesn't work, it doesn't do anything, it's just you're pressing random keys and nothing happens. So how does this all work? So the basic idea here is we want to work with gravity. So how did I do gravity? I said if not color yellow, so that's his shoes, if his shoe color is not touching a platform color, if it's not touching it, that's why I have the not there, change y by -2. So I'm making him come down 2 pixels every time the loop runs, and it's all in a forever loop. Now again, you got to be careful with the amount of forever loops you have, because the more forever loops you have, the more issues you're going to run into. What I notice some people do is they have a when green flag is clicked, they have a forever loop for this if statement, they'll have another when green flag is clicked and forever loop for this statement and for this statement and for this statement. Try to put them all in one, all right, if you can. So if not color yellow is touching color purple, then change y by -2, that will bring it down, and set can jump to 1, because if he's in the air, he can't jump anymore, right? If gravity's pulling him down, you can't jump. Once you're off the ground, you can't jump again. All right. However, if this is not true, so if he is touching purple, then set can jump to 0, so he can jump again. All right. So this is where the jumping stuff happens, and this is also where the gravity happens. So this line here, if not color touching the shoe color is not touching the platform or color, change y by -2, that gives us the gravity. All right. This set jump to 1, and then else set jump to 0, that gives us the ability to only jump once. Then for the right and left arrow key, the big thing you have to do here is you have to point in the direction you want him to go. So if I want him facing right, I go point in direction 90, change X by 5, and next costume. So that's how I'm getting his feet to move, is you just switch the costume every time. Costume, 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 and that's how he's going to be changing. All right. Same with the left arrow point direction -90. Now what you're going to notice is if you don't add this line of code here, which says set rotational style, left or right, what the cat's going to actually do is he's going to flip when you do it, and his head will be down here. All right. You need to make sure you set rotation style left right instead of all around. So left right will make the cat actually just flip. All right. So then what I'm going to say here is if he's touching sprite 11, so that's our goal, that's our end, and really you probably want to rename these sprites. Like this might call it goal, you might call it life 1, life 2, life 3, platform 1, platform 2, platform 3, ball, whatever the case may be. What I'm saying here, if he's touching sprite 11, which is the goal, well then broadcast level 2. If he's touching sprite 10, broadcast restart. So this is where I'm going to restart the ball at the top. I'm going to restart the cat down here. I'm going to change lives by -1. So what I have here is I have a variable that's counting my lives. Now you might think, oh look, the cats are counting the lives and it's checking these cats. It's not. This is just graphics to make it look like, oh look, here's how many lives you have. Awesome. It makes it look good. So it's just kind of a trick. Really what's counting the lives is the number here, is this variable lives. All right, so I remove the lives by -1. Now, how do I show these things? Well, the first thing I want you to notice is when I go to these cats, this is cat, cat 2, cat 3, is when the green flag is clicked, I show them. I do that for each of them. All right. Then I have a broadcast statement. So when I only want 2 lives to show, I will have here, this one here, this one here. When I receive 2 lives, this third cat here hides. When I receive 1 life, this cat hides. And finally, when I receive game over, this guy hides, and then he'll show again when it starts. So where is that controlled? Well, that's all controlled in these if statements here. If lives equals 2, so after it touches it, we'll go to these if statements here and check if lives is 2, then show 2 lives. If lives is 1, show 1 life, and if life equals 0, game over. And so how this will work then is if my cat, so I gotta make sure I'm using the right keyboard here, goes and he jumps up here, and I get hit by the ball. Oh no! Boom! Boom! Ah! Alright. Boom! And you'll notice that there was a little lag there when I jump here, kind of get stuck halfway through. One of the best ways to work with that is to make sure these lines are a little bit thinner. Maybe your shoes are a little bit thinner too. Now what you'll notice here is I went to the chalkboard. This is my default screen for game over. I haven't done anything special for game over. You'll probably want to write line or some graphics in yours that's like game over, haha, nice try, something like that, whatever the case may be for you. All right, your job is to make this look pretty. I've given you here the basics on how this one works. So what I want you to do is use it as a guide. Again, please don't just take this and remix it. Just so you guys know, I can see when you guys do that. Please don't do that. Just make your own. You can copy the same idea. You can even copy the code. Just don't remix it. All right. Make it your own. Add graphics. Add multiple levels. Make it maybe make it a little bit harder. Maybe add some more of these balls here that will come down and attack you. All that type of stuff. All right. You can use clones. So if you go further down, you can, under control, you can create a copy of the clone, and you can do some pretty cool stuff with clones. We're going to talk about that with our next assignment on how to work with clones. But if I know some of you are really comfortable with clones, and I've seen some of the work you guys have done over the past couple weeks, and it is absolutely amazing. So if you want to make some clones, by all means, you can do this. What I want you guys to know is after we make this platformer, your next project in Scratch is to make a game of your choosing. So you're going to make a retro game of your choice. So also keep that in the back of your mind too. What do I want to do? Do I want to create like a Legend of Zelda type game where it's a top view? Do I want to create a choose your own adventure kind of game? Do I want to do a side scroller? Do I want to do a platform like this? Do I want to do an advanced maze type game? So start thinking of some ideas. One day your homework will probably be, if you have an emulator or access to the internet, to go and play some retro games just to get a feel for them. All right, so yes, that'll be homework, playing video games. Not yet though. All right, so don't get ahead of yourselves. So yeah, that is the basics on how this game here works. Please watch this video. If you have questions, make sure you ask. It's very important that you guys ask. It's very important so I can help you guys, and we can get through this, and we can do this and make this look awesome. All right, so make sure you check in with me. Make sure you guys check in with each other. Talk to your friends. If you and a buddy want to work on this together, and you're like, hey, you know what? Let's set up like Facebook Messenger or some type of Google Chat or Meet or something like that, and you guys want to be working on this together, that's cool with me, as long as you guys each hand in your own project and let me know, hey, Mr. David, we kind of collaborated on this and worked together on it. I am good with that. All right. So if you have questions, please make sure you ask. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys next Tuesday at about 1 o'clock when we have our Google meeting, Google Classroom. And again, it's nothing too formal. It's just going to be a quick hangout, checking in. Hey, how's it going? Hope your day's going well, all that type of stuff. So again, feel free to send me a message. Have a great day, guys. I will see you all later.